Oh, the funk. Love it. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Midweek. Nice to see everybody. My name is Dean. That is Lachlan Cross from 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. That is JP White, James White from 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton as well. He's host of the Jedi Jimmy podcast. We got some Boba Fett, some Star Wars to get to today because episode 4 came out and I'm all in. So we're talking about it. And Jabba the Rook, Chris Rook, our head of production, never puts up his socials there because he doesn't give two fucks if anybody follows him, which I find very interesting. Yeah, it's funny because I had a meeting with one of our advisors and he's like, make sure you guys put your handles, like your Twitter handles, in your chyrons. And I'm like,
Jabba the Rook.
It's a chyron.
And he
Star Wars
changes
terminology?
it's your name. That's what that is. It's the thing, the visual at the bottom of your name. And so it's supposed to be, like I was supposed to put at It's Dean Blundell, but I'm pretty sure everybody knows where we are now. So But once again, a reminder, subscribe, YouTube, Dean Blundell Show on YouTube, Dean Blundell TV on Twitch. Go and smash the old subscribe button. We'd appreciate it. Available on Google, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts as well. The Dean Blundell Show, and we're happy to have everybody here today. We got a busy day today. We're going to talk about
2 T's or 1 T in Fetish?
Fetish 1 T, Fet 2. We're going to talk Boba Fetish with these two guys because they're both Star Wars geeks, and of course JP
Boba
White.
Fetish.
It is Boba Fetish, and then we're also going to talk a little bit about Star Wars. In terms of domination, because I've never in my life, like, it used to be a negative being a Star Wars fan, and now I cannot find enough Star Wars bloggers. So we're going to vie for supremacy today between these two cats, which will be fun. We're also going to talk about people that intentionally give themselves COVID. We're going to talk about COVID penis. Yes, it is a very real thing, fellas. COVID penis is a very, very real thing. Very real thing. And when I read about it today, I was like, how the fuck is this?
I really don't want to get COVID.
I gotta go check my
on
penis.
All of the stuff that's coming out about everything in the last month has been your dick. Your dick's going to get small. Your dick's going to explode. Your dick's not going to work. It's all bad news about your dick.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, COVID penis, we'll get into it later, but it's even fucking worse than what we talked about earlier in the week that involves COVID and your dick. It's awful.
Shrinkage. We're COVID is attacking the man like it's never attacked anybody before. It's like, this is now a man's disease.
Yes.
And
this is about.
I'm not going to taste anything. I'm not going to smell anything, and my dick's going to fall off.
Yeah, no, I don't think
want to
it's
get
going to
COVID.
fall off. But and here's the thing: we might as well launch into it because, fuck, why not? Right? We're in the age of it. I was doing some research today. We had 59 deaths in the province of Ontario, which is a new high during this wave.
That
which
many?
was 59.
When?
Oh yeah.
Yesterday?
But it was recounting and some lag reporting. So we'll get, today's deaths tomorrow. But generally speaking, about 40 to 50 people dying in the province of a day. They're like, Doug Ford today, he does one of these, right? He's like, the premier of the province, Mr. Useless, Mr. Plow. Remember this guy from a couple of days ago? This is the guy that was giving the press conference. Remember this guy, the guy with the shovel? Remember him? International joke.
Whoever did that deserves an award.
Dude,
was
Keith
that Lindley?
Olbermann. Yeah, it was. Keith Olbermann from formerly of ESPN was like, who's this fucking Doug Ford guy? And he posted that picture, and everybody's like, we don't know him. He's a douchebag. It's like, whatever. Anyway, so he had just this god-awful day yesterday and taken to task on his PR stunt where he ran out with a snowplow and his trusted horse, the lone snow ranger, goes out with his kid's shovel.
The only thing
fucks
missing
up the snow
from that picture is I wish Lindley would have put a band with some sort of medallion on his head, like to match the horse. That's the only thing that I think we're missing here. The shovel's perfect. The boots,
the mucklucks.
Everything works for me here. It just he needs some kind of headgear.
Yeah. He does. But it's funny because all these things that are going on, like we've been really hard on COVID deaths and really hard on anti-vaxxers and really hard on people that don't get it. And I believe I've now entered the this is just entertainment portion of the pandemic. Because literally, like I was thinking about it yesterday, the Doug Ford stuff, sure, is he a terrible premier? Of course. Fuck, we get it. Guy doesn't give two fucks about anybody. He announces today he does one of these. He's like, probably going to open up all those restrictions again on Monday or Tuesday of next week. We had 50 people die in ICU today. We have 41 or 4,200 people in the hospital, another record. The infections are still like 10,000. A year ago, we were shutting things down for 500 new infections across the province. Yeah. And this dude's like, fuck the world. Everything's going to be great. My wife's birthday's on the 25th. It's going to be
There's a lot of people, though, Dean, that are at that point. I mean, take Doug out of it. I think a lot of people are getting to that point now where they're like, yeah, let's just open everything back up again. I'm not going to follow the rules.
Yeah. Today, Boris Johnson announced that basically back to normal, it's the flu.
Well, yeah, but he got caught at like 45 Christmas parties. When they were supposed to be locking down. So he just released the restrictions today because he fucked everybody and fucked himself, and he's probably going to lose his job over it, right?
Boris is the Jimmy of UK. Jimmy's that guy. Like once midnight strikes, if he's drinking, he just wanders around the city until somebody lets him in.
Yeah. I haven't done that in a while.
It's not a regular thing, is it?
He doesn't want to shut it down. Jimmy goes from shit to fuck real quick when you're drinking. Like he gets there fast. Like he gets ahead of everybody, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't take him long to get to fuck, but he stays at fuck and he will go at fuck
for a long period of time.
4 a.m.
It's impressive.
I remember when we started as a show, I was still working at the strip club. And so I worked at the strip club till 2, and then we went to an after party. And then the next morning I was supposed to meet Locke at the radio station at noon, and we were supposed to go interview Nathaniel Rateliff. So and I get a call from him at about 11:45. Where are you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, crap, I'm still in bed. And he goes, what time did you get home? I'm like, 8:45 this morning.
Oh, was it 9? He used to work at a strip club. Quick story. He used to work at a strip club. He was like the mascot or whatever. What were you?
And
Little Ernie?
then I became the stripper.
Yeah. Yeah, he was Little Ernie, and so he was like they just paid him to go and drink with people, right? And it was Thursday nights, and he hosted this amateur night as well. He'd go on stage and bring the girls out, right? And now we got Sarah. She's our dishwasher. She's going to tear her clothes off. Mm-hmm. And they all compete for $100 or something like that.
Sounds like a great gig.
Yeah. So Jimmy would come to work on Friday morning. I would go wake him up because he would just Uber from Pinky's down to the radio station.
So was the name of it?
Pinky's. Yeah. And so I'd get to the strip. I get to the radio station at 1:30, at 1:30, 2 o'clock, and then he'd wake me up
I'd go get him. After the first couple of times, we realized he was drunk on the air pretty much every morning. So what we did is we brought a breathalyzer in, and we would make him blow, and he had to blow sober before we let him talk.
That was after St. Paddy's Day.
So how long did that take?
2 days.
Yeah.
You couldn't blow sober for 2 solid days?
It was the first day. Like the first
Brooke,
day.
You need to fucking party with Jimmy.
Yeah,
I will.
I'd pay to see that.
The first day with the whole thing with the video, because he shot video of it of them doing the breathalyzer, and then we had a birthday party for the boss. All I remember from that day was what was videotaped. I don't even remember even being there.
Yeah.
You're the best, buddy. You're the fucking best. We all have those memories. There's about 4 straight days in London, England, and in Dublin I do not recall. So I totally get it. And I remember waking up eating a Caesar salad going, what day is it? And they're like, fuck, we're leaving today. I'm like, what happened? They're like, just get on the plane, man. Like, so it happens. Don't worry about
it. During one of the breathalyzer tests, he says, okay, blow. And I'm sitting there blowing, and I was farting at the same time for the same length of time as blowing.
Did you put a mic on your butt to pick up the fart?
A little butt mic? Yeah.
There is video of that.
Do you remember what you blew the first time that you came in?
We had a bit of cheap one, but it was sort of like one of those. It just had sort of a pin, and it was just like drunk.
Buried.
And then we looked up the number, and it says, what was it?
Yeah,
fatal.
He was legally dead a couple of times. Like we're not sure it was really good.
Fatal. It says fatal levels.
Fatal levels of alcohol poisoning, and he tested himself 2 days in a row, and he was still drunk. I love you, man. I love you. I really do. Yeah. There's so many different parts about you. I'm happy you're over the COVID thing too, Jimmy, because I don't know if you saw this, but COVID penis is a thing. This is a buddy of mine. His name is Dr. Eric Feigl-Ding. He is an infectious disease expert out of the United States of America, Harvard-educated, smart guy. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. Eric Feigl-Ding. Dr. Ding is reporting on... Dude, this is serious. It's about the penis.
New York Post, fuck off. It's not the... This can't be real.
It is real. I've looked it up. He has I actually read the study today. It was fucking hilarious, and it's real. This is called COVID penis. It's something to be worried about, and it's a rare side effect of not the vaccine. Okay? Dumb fucks out there going, it's probably vaccine related. No, it's not. It's about COVID. If you get COVID, you can get COVID penis. It is, quote, the deep dorsal vein that runs the whole length of the schwanz is involved in a supply of oxygenated blood to the organ. An ultrasound shows no blood flow to the vein due to a blood clot halfway along the wiener, boys. Blood clots in the wieners from COVID now. Eric goes on to say, Dr. Eric, Harvard-educated, this is real. The unnamed male suffered penile pain for 3 days before being seen by a urologist in Iran. Hey, there's where you don't want to get penile pain. Iran. There's no one I'm showing my dink to if he goes, I'm an Iranian urologist. No offense. I'll wait till I get home. Anyway, referred to this guy for tests. Discomfort began following an erection while having sex. 41-year-old married dude told doctors. Doctors started giving him rivaroxaban, a blood-thinning medication used to treat and prevent blood clots. 2 months after treating the patient's treatment, the symptoms were 2 months. 2 months. What? He had no penile pain during erection and sexual disturbances anymore. However, the man still experienced a little pain under pressure at the site of the blood clotting. Doctors had to drain blood from the penis using a needle because ice packs did not work in bringing the stiffness down.
Hey.
I remember we did a story, and this is a couple years ago, about a guy who decided that he worked with a veterinarian or knew a veterinarian at like on a farm, and he took Viagra for bulls, like what they give the bulls to give them a boner so that they run out and jump the cows, right? And so he decided that he was going to take that, and he ended up getting like a serious rager, and he had it for a couple of days and was in the hospital, right? And it's serious. And we were talking about it, and I was like, well, what do they do with this? And some woman called up and she said, I'm a nurse, and they pull blood out of your penis with needles.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
There's a call more women joke in there somewhere.
What's that?
There's a call more women joke in there somewhere. If I have a boner for 4 days, I'm not leaving the house. In my single days.
Yeah.
Get out the Rolodex.
I'm not wasting this boner.
Listen, I took bull erection pills. Come on by. Here next 4 days.
I'd send out, you know what I would do? I would even further that. I would send out a mass email to every woman on my mailing list to make sure my parents and relatives are taken out of it. And I'd be like, hey guys, one-time offer, took some bull erection drugs. Here's my address. Anybody who's in, come on over.
This is why they got to sell Viagra over the counter. Like you can't.
You're going nowhere.
Because guys are not. They're embarrassed. They don't want to go through a doctor to get boner pills, right? And 90% of that Viagra is taken recreationally.
Oh yeah.
10% is taken by guys that actually need it. The other 90% is just the insecure man who can still get an erection, but he's like, well, what if I do a bunch of blow and I can't get a boner? All right, well, I'll offset it with this
little Viagra.
Daniels.
So listen, he was embarrassed. He didn't want to talk to anybody, so he took the bullshit.
Oh, it's just incredible to me. But listen, if you are, and I want to come back and circle back to this, and I want you to look at the bottom of this thing. If you are unvaccinated, and this is, I'm not going after you and your moral system and your values anymore. I got my values. I got my morals. I don't give a fuck about you and what you're going to do. If you're not going to get vaccinated, who cares? But fellas, I'm talking to you, the unvaccinated fella. This COVID can cause blood clots in your dick. Okay? Let me read this last line from his thread. Doctors had to drain blood from the penis using a needle because ice packs didn't work in bringing the boner down. That is what you may get if you are unvaccinated, you get fucking COVID. If you have the vaccine, not one reported wiener blood clot or needle in the dick. Like not one. But there are several because Dr. Eric Ding not only did that, he documented all the other ones. Like this 69-year-old guy in Ohio who suffered a 3-hour boner due to blood clotting problems in his penis, not vaccinated. 20 to 50% of hospitalized patients in COVID have abnormal coagulation tests, not vaccinated. Scientists learned that the tendency to clot happens in the wiener because you're sitting there and everything's kind of bunched up and it's like the junction of blood in your dick. Medics reported they believe COVID caused blood clots to form in other penises and had trapping blood in the erection chambers. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like a movie. Erection chambers. And another man in his 60s in France had to go through the same procedure after COVID left him with a 4-hour erection. In this case, doctors concluded his priapism had been triggered by COVID. So the stories you're hearing of ED, unfounded
are countered by this.
They're countered by
ED is a thing.
This thing is coming for your dick, fellas. It's coming for your dick. I want you to look at Uncle Dean right here. If you value your wiener, if you're a big fan of your schwanz, if you really enjoy playing with your pecker, if you're a big penis guy and you love your penis and you don't like anything going wrong with your penis, go get vaccinated. Okay? Do it for your penis. Don't do it for your neighbors. If you're that much of a selfish dick,
people vaccinated, they should have started with this conversation. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I need to clarify something.
Booze and you can't buy booze and pot, and it's going to mess your dick up.
Yeah.
I got to clarify something. I've never had ED.
That's not true. That's not true. You told us you did on the phone the other day. You were telling us about. Yes, you did.
No. It was some dick that I work with. He looks a lot like Lachlan Cross.
Okay.
Here's the other thing. I have a question. Like, who's timing their boners? You know what I mean?
I'm a little busy when I have one, so I don't
exactly.
Time it.
And like, are we all setting a stopwatch?
It's weird. I know.
No,
I got a dinger, honey. Where's my stopwatch?
There's 30 minutes.
There's a dinger timer on their Fitbit. So as soon as they get it,
but does the Fitbit measure your erections?
Dingers? Yeah.
No, I'm just making it up as I went, just like you do.
Does it? Are you being sarcastic?
I was being sarcastic.
I don't think.
I don't know.
Watch, on the other hand, might.
Okay, so I've had COVID. You had COVID, Chris. You have not had COVID, Locke. No. JP had COVID last week. Jamesy, my man, Jimmy White. You had COVID last week. Did you notice, as with every sickness, lower sex drive? Yes or no?
I was too tired. Like I was really tired and groggy. So, but I've made up for it this week. I'm back. Okay. I'm back to 6 a day.
You know why? Because we were bugging him about having ED. So now he's he can't stop playing with it just to prove a
masturbating.
Point.
So you're back. You didn't suffer irreparable masturbation harm like some people said they did from having COVID, correct?
No.
Okay. So you're still, how many times a day are you up to now? 4, 5?
I did it 3 since I've been home from
oh boy,
work.
Congratulations. 3 times. Good for you. I don't even have that kind of motivation.
I am never
anymore.
going into
That's
your apartment again.
Nah, me neither. What about you? Unvaccinated McCovid dick. What about you? Did you notice a difference in drive or no?
Yeah, because I would sweat profusely just walking up the stairs. So if I tried to have a wank, it would have been like I ran a marathon.
Did
So
you give it a
yeah,
go?
I wasn't exactly in the mood to do that last week.
That's Bonzi was saying too. But then he's seemed better, and he still hasn't. Bonzi's going to get it. He's going to totally get ED.
You don't know that, dude.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing about you is you love the guy and you want him to like have all kinds of long haul COVID effects.
Yeah.
You want him to not be able to get a boner. You're just hoping his taint explodes.
I got a list right here beside my computer where I'm keeping track of his COVID stuff. He's got ringing in the ears and ED so far, and he doesn't want to tell us anything else.
But see, Locke's that way with his friends. He actually wishes horrible things upon his friends so he can witness it.
I don't have a lot of entertainment in my life, so other people's misery is important to me.
Is yours, yeah. I know, me too. I'm the same way. Like yesterday, I tried to get Locke to say quid pro quo because he can't say it. And he was like,
pro ro.
How do you say it? Do you know how to say it?
Me?
I'm not doing this.
I want you to try it once.
No.
Just once.
What about the cisgender? I have this.
I was doing that on purpose. I was doing that on purpose because I was trying to make James snap. And we spent 45 minutes talking about J.K. Rowling's again. Yeah, every time we do this, it's just
I know.
And so I was looking for any opportunity to disrail the conversation.
I know. I watched it. Anyway, we talked about that last night too. I don't know if you guys were the same. And I'm like this, and I think that's why we've had a great go of it during the pandemic. We've seen the growth we have. Our growth has been exponential because we're fairly responsible about this stuff. But the other thing I love doing, and we were talking about this last night, I don't know if you guys are like this too. When I see a sore point for someone, you know how other people are like, hey, maybe don't go down that road because they might get upset. I go and take my finger and I lick it and I jam it in the sore spot. It's like over and over and over and over and over again.
That's why you and Locke work so well together. He does the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's the best, right? Because the reaction's incredible. Like hearing that you had ED upset me for you, right? It bothered me for you. And then watching Lachlan try and help you with it, telling you it's going to be okay. There's medication for it. There's pumps for it.
He wasn't trying to help me. He was tormenting me
because you couldn't get a boner during your COVID, right? Like that. It's a scary business for guys, and then you find out that COVID.
It's not that I couldn't get a boner. I just didn't feel like wanking it.
It generally happens when you're sick with a head cold. I coughed and it shook my whole body, so.
Yeah,
I don't think it would have.
We were worried about you, Rook, because you're not vaccinated, but because of the medications you're on, right? But
yeah, but I'm good.
You bounce back, okay?
Yeah, I'm great.
Yeah.
All good here, folks.
I had no issues.
No dinger.
No dinger issues at all.
We'll see. Right? The night is young. I'm going to do measurements every day now just to see if it shrinks.
Yeah.
It's cold outside too, so not a really good indicator to do.
Not just greatest weather for measurement.
Yeah,
but it's not recommended to play with it outside, anyways.
That's true. You get arrested.
If it's cold in your place, you need to turn the heat on.
And don't put it up against the pole.
Do you put on music, Jimmy, or do you have like a Rolodex you go through, like a spank bank in your head of different things that motivate you? Because you masturbate a lot. Like you're a.
I just have music. I just have porn saved on every device I have.
Yeah, that's right. What are your go-tos for the quick wank porn?
Do we really want to go down this route?
I do.
He is
I
a
really
horrible
do.
human
Again.
being. And
Here I go.
Here we go.
I'm not having this conversation again.
I'm asking you the question for serious, okay? It's just all you have to do is answer it. How many times a day?
Did we ruin your fetish?
I'm not talking about this because no.
Okay. So
we accidentally found out what his fetish was, and
Kink. Everybody's got one. Keep that music going. I love it. It's sexy.
I think we killed it. I think we killed Jimmy's. I don't think he can actually get aroused anymore by this particular.
Well, what I want to know is like if you go for it, if you service yourself, what you've said several times a day when you're not, sick at home with COVID. Like, what are your go-tos? Is it X Hamster? Is it Aloha Tube?
I didn't even know.
Is it Pornhub? I'm not asking about your categories.
xnxx.com.
Never heard of it.
What? Really?
Never.
I don't know that one either.
Yeah.
It's got everything.
Okay.
It's got the gauntlet, folks.
Can we talk categories for a sec?
Okay.
Give me your top 5 categories.
Lesbian is a top.
Got it. Pretty standard.
Loud screaming.
It's an interesting one.
It's like loud orgasm. Okay.
Yeah, you're auditory. You're turned on by auditory things. Got it. Okay.
Classic radio guy.
Yeah.
And then
classic radio guy.
and then my fetish still does get me off.
Does it? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Because you did yell at it. He was really mad at us one day when we talked about it, and he was like, "You guys are gonna ruin this for me."
Dude, it's totally
the only reason why I say that is so you guys would bloody drop the subject. Because
you know better.
Well, because dude, Lachlan's licking his fingers getting ready to insert it in the sore. Like that's he'll never stop. You got to cut it. Like right now, we're very similar.
You know what's
you said
funny?
Your fetish gets you off, and I guessed your fetish on this very program a few months ago.
Can I point this out again? And this is another just absolutely remarkable thing about Dean Blundell. The list continues to grow. So we found out it was a Super Bowl, I think, and we were partying and we were trying to get home and we couldn't figure out how to make the Uber work like a 2-stop Uber.
Yeah, because he wanted me to pay for his Uber because he drives me everywhere. So we had to figure it out. Yeah. And Grant's phone was miraculously Grant's phone was dead, and Locke's phone was dead. So the only one that they had to Google on was mine. And
so Grant grabs Jimmy's phone, opens up Safari, and notices a
category of pornography.
Category. Yes, and so he tells me about it on the weekend before we went on the air, or that night, and I'm like, okay, well, we'll deal with it on the show tomorrow. So we went on the air and we promised Jimmy that we wouldn't say what it was unless somebody guessed. And we
it was almost 2 years, and we would bring it up every few weeks, like at least once every couple months, maybe.
Yeah, fetish. Your kink. I don't even want to call it a fetish. It's a kink. It's something that's like a little interesting thing that turns you on.
Yeah, there's a difference between a fetish and a kink, and it has something to do with the fact that a kink is something like what Jimmy has with this particular thing. We all have them, but we're talking about his kink. But we call it a fetish because it's funnier. A fetish is something
under the category
you absolutely need to get off.
But under the category under most porn sites, it comes up as fetish.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think yours is specifically a fetish. I think a fetish is if you're not dressed up as a bunny, you cannot get off. And that's why it's a fetish, right? And that's not it. I just
out of my head
randomly grabbed that.
So
anyway...
Every time
we would go on the air, we would talk about it, and we would go, okay, if you guess it, we're allowed to talk about what it is. Not once. And everything came in. Dressed up like a baby, spanking, Star Wars cosplay, awful. Yeah,
furries,
everything.
Being shit
on. People think he's just a nasty little animal, right?
Yeah.
And then we talk about it. We talked about it, and you went boom and guessed it. And I'm like, that's insane. No one had ever guessed it up until that point.
There's a word for it. There's a word for your kink, fetish. This is the word. Hard to see because I just screen grabbed it. It's myesiophilia. Myesiophilia. You have my SEOphilia, which is, you don't mind if I say it?
I don't care.
Likes pregnant chicks.
It's
Totally
a thing.
normal. Yeah, it's totally normal.
We have another guy at work that
not for me, but dude, like of all the things you're hiding from people,
yeah,
that is not the most embarrassing.
No,
like
but it's just,
you tell people way more embarrassing shit about yourself on this program. Like I masturbated 3 times today. Like it's 4:00 and you're a 40-year-old adult. No one has time to masturbate 3 times in one day at this age.
But the thing is I'm telling these things for a reason, because I get ahead of it before Locke and Grant have a chance to either bring it up or, especially if they know,
to weaponize it.
Yeah, my opinion of James did not change when I found out this about him, right?
Not at all.
But if he did like to have women shit on his chest, I probably would have. There would have been way more judgment there.
Yeah,
that is the thing too, eh?
So there is a little judgment there, right?
Yeah.
No kink shaming on the program, guys. You can't kink shame now.
And Locke,
you know what? And that is like, if you said to me, Dean, name one of your porn searches, that would have never been one of them. We're all different. That's the thing.
Dean, name one of your porn searches.
Guys with dogs.
No. You look kind of like a
zoophilia.
You look like a bondage guy. You look like you like to be tied up or like to tie people up.
You know what's funny is that not only do I not have a fetish or like a kink, I don't watch a ton of porn at all. And if I do, the porn I watch is because I'm researching something or I've read something that had to do, like the last thing I think I watched was the girl from Boy Meets World. She's like an adult porn star. Yeah. She's like an adult porn star now. And I'm like, which one was that? And then I went and looked at it, and I'm like,
Rook, you had that pretty quick to the chest, eh?
Come on now. I ain't hiding. I think Dean's fetish is that they leave quickly afterward.
Yeah, that turns me.
I just hope that she runs out of here after this. Doesn't even say bye.
When I watch porn, I fast forward it for the last 5 minutes because I want to get the girl leaving.
Tremendous amount of porn.
Do you really?
It's actually
not good for you, apparently.
Those are all the discs back there. They're not CDs.
That's all porn.
It's all porn.
And he's been caught because he's been searching porn, and then he keeps the Bluetooth on, and it gets picked up by the car.
That happened.
It's all time. That story's all time long.
Dude, that was one of my favorite stories. It was early in our relationship too, where you're like, "Hey, let me tell you a story. I don't know anybody on this podcast, but here you go. At home, whacking off, watching it on my phone, Bluetooth still attached to the Subaru. Wife gets in to leave. All she hears is people getting railed.
Yeah,
she comes
my
in.
My phone went off. Like the audio went off, and I'm looking at it going.
If you have a smart TV, you could also get caught with AirPlay. So watch out for that one too.
But the best is he brought that story up.
It hasn't happened. It might happen. Could have happened.
My wife's line was perfect. She says, listen, I know you do it, and I know you probably do it more than you should, but I don't want to hear you doing it.
But you brought that story up during your apology tour, and then you phoned and you apologized to your wife.
Yeah. I do an apology tour every year.
I know, we all do. So real quick, I just want to bring this up. Is this a dunk or a pass? Someone tell me. Folk singer Hannah Horka died of COVID after deliberately catching COVID. So this woman went out and she's like a world famous, folk singer. That's what it says here. According to her son, rather than get vaccinated, she deliberately hung around and infected family members over Christmas instead of self-isolating.
Wow.
The folk singer died Sunday of COVID-19 after intentionally exposing herself to the virus in an ill-advised self-immunization attempt. She was 57. Passing was confirmed by her son. Her fatal goal to regain access to her favorite off-limit entertainments. And she wouldn't get vaccinated. Her son's account said, yeah, she died. And he's like, by the way, I blame, and here's how she died. She didn't get the shot. She saw an opportunity for the latter. So she got COVID on purpose over Christmas. Instead of self-isolating, she deliberately hung around family members. 2 days later, the folk artist apparently died due to COVID complications, with her son reporting, quote, she choked to death within 10 minutes. And I'm like, do we dunk or pass on that one?
Pass.
I'm a pass
singer.
Yeah, because because we were
look at this one by Dunbar. She's a canceled check. Yeah. Or bounce check. Nice. On fire, my friend.
Oh boy, Dunbar.
I brought this up with Locke today, and he's like, "No, we can't. No, this is not a. This
really
is not to talk about."
So she's like, she deliberately gave herself COVID. Didn't believe in any of it. Was it this one
that we didn't talk about, Jimmy?
No, we didn't talk about it.
It was this one that I.
Oh, you did
talk to you about.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did bring this one up. I didn't want to.
I think it's a dunk.
You think it? I'm a pass.
Do. You're a pass?
Yeah.
See, at first I was a pass too because she said, quote, she wanted to regain her favorite off-limit sources of entertainment. And I'm like, oh, that's everybody, right?
Yeah.
But we all went and got shots so we could go do that because we understand science. And then I was like, people are trying to stay away from this on purpose. She legitimately went and got it. Because she wanted it, because she wanted to go back to her favorite places where everybody else was allowed to go if they were vaccinated, but she wasn't. So her solution in her mind was just get COVID, be immune, which we all know also isn't true. It also doesn't work. You get COVID, you can get it fucking 400 times. There's a million variants, for Christ's sake. It's like, who knows what killed her? But that's when I went back to dunk. At first I was pass, and now I'm dunk. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Hannah Horka gave it up.
You said she choked?
Yeah, she choked to death.
It's ironic because her last name's Horka.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just going to point that out. That's what I'm going to pass.
Three of us have passed, but we're all dunking.
Going under the leg like Vince Carter in 2001.
Yeah. The pass for me comes from the fact that I think she... For me, that it's the denial, the going out of their way to, if you've decided that you're not going to get vaccinated for personal reasons, but if you're out in public and you're yelling at people because they are, do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, those are the dunkers. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. She doesn't seem like that type. She seems like, I didn't get the vaccine. Don't trust it for whatever reason. But I believe it's real, so I'm just going to get it so I can go back to living a normal life. She was protesting outside of hospitals or it doesn't sound like she was causing her family members issues because they got vaccinated.
Oh, no, she was. He went on to say, noted that his mom frequently shared anti-vaccine articles and anti-science articles on social media. She had, quote, I know exactly who influenced her, her bereaved son said. He reportedly tried to convince Horka to get immunized to no availability. She said, quote, it makes me sad that she believes strangers more than her proper family. Meanwhile, the number of COVID cases in Czech Republic reached a new daily high with 30,000 cases yesterday. Population of 10.5 million people.
I thought the Czech Republic was mandating it. Wasn't it?
No, that was Austria.
Yeah, Austria is. Yeah, you have to be. I don't know. And again, I kind of I'm starting to give people a pass on the disinformation thing bothers me. The spread of disinformation bothers me a great deal. The lack of trust in public officials I get. And I think it's worse in some countries. Mm-hmm. It's at an all-time high in Canada.
Oh, dude. Yeah. And around the world. It's not just it's not just us that are talking about how we have been given no information. The information we do get changes. Yesterday, we did a little piece on mainstream media and the legitimate damage that they have caused and continue to cause. And I put out just a real sobering tweet yesterday. Basically, we need new media in this country, right? And it was amazing because not only did it get hundreds of thousands of impressions and tons of juice online, and I was shocked by it. But we actually put out a video of what we were talking about yesterday, and it has gone bananas. It's like a viral video of hey, we need people we can trust, right? We legitimately need as Canadians. And I'm not talking about this in terms of, we're the solution to that. We're not. Nobody's the solution to it as a whole. Individuals are. and asking more of yourself and asking more of other people. Like, fuck, tell me the truth. The whole shit with Doug Ford yesterday and Mr. Plow exposed traditional media for what it was, which is just repeating talking points on behalf of people who really don't give a fuck about us. They only care about themselves and their relationships, personal gain, financial rewards, driving narratives, and servicing their relationships.
I've been thinking about this, Dean, and I hate to interrupt, but I think we need to take a little bit of responsibility for where we're at right now, because we're at a point in society where no one's comfortable, and a lot of this is, you can break it down to demographics, but we're at a point in society where no one's comfortable with the truth anymore. So what happens is, what we're not comfortable with the truth, we constantly are looking to be lied to because we want our lives to go easier, and we know that if we get the truth, it's just going to make us uncomfortable. So we seek out these forms of news entertainment, and we support it. Not only that, we put people in power that continue to do it. Not only that, I've talked about this before. I don't go to Oilers games. I'm a fan. I would love to go to an Oilers game, but it's ridiculous that they charge $14 for a fucking 8-ounce beer, and that tickets are $235. And that if I go to a game with my wife, I could take that money and fly to fucking Vegas for a long weekend. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. But why do they keep charging that? Because we keep fucking paying it. We're at fault right now because we don't want to hear the truth, because this is where we're at, because we keep electing these officials that continue to lie to us to make us feel good about ourselves, that we're doing the right thing, all this woke culture bullshit. We keep putting these people in power. And I think we need to own a little bit of a responsibility for where we're at. The media, politics, there's a lot of things that we've sort of, I'm practicing for my blog later today on recycling.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, is you're missing one key thing, because you keep saying the media, politicians, social media, the internet. Those are the big things, because it's now social media, and you can put anything out there. I could say, hey, eating shit makes you grow tall. And you can put it out there, and you can put whatever you want out there, and people will go, oh, that sounds like an idea. And it's worse than it's ever been before. It's a mix. What's that?
Nothing. Sorry.
On the other side of the coin, though, I feel like social media has kind of helped expose the bad stuff, because we've never had access to information faster. Yep. Like, for example, yesterday with Sid's tweet getting pulled, Rob Gill immediately called bullshit on the producers, and it got viral, and they put it back up. So I feel like social media, part of it, can be bad, and people have opinions and they put stuff out, but also it's helped get the correct information out there from the sources. There's not back when you get your news by watching at 6 o'clock from till 6:30. Like, no one gets their news anymore. They have it in the palm of their hand every day, 24/7. So I feel like that's the reason why people are starting to get what's going on, is because, people like Dean, people like Rob, people are calling bullshit.
Why are we so much more divided than we ever have been, though?
Dude, we live in a different time.
We
and
always
to Chris's
have been.
point, oh yeah, dude, we've always been like this. We just
Not
didn't
like
hear
this.
about it because we didn't have a steady stream of angry people telling us how angry they are every time we logged onto this thing to look for some kind of confirmation bias, right? Like, that's what we're dealing with here. We're not dealing with normal behaviors that we used to be able to count on when we were younger, because you can say whatever you want anytime you want. To Jimmy's point, I mean, we've got people legitimately drinking their own piss, thinking that, this will save me from COVID. So, yeah, I mean, that's the world we live in. However, if you take it all away and you look at what happened yesterday, you look at the snow job Doug Ford did, telling everybody how great of a guy he was, all the news stations and media outlets going, hey, he is a great guy, when they knew full well he was not. Like, when they knew full well that this fucking loser went out just to be a fucking loser, and he did a great job of looking like a fucking loser yesterday because he's a fucking loser. So they didn't care about it, because the only thing they care about is clicks. Now, what works against them, which is social media, is what works for us, right? Anybody can be a hockey insider. Like, anybody. You just put out, like, I found out John Tavares was coming to Toronto, and we were the people that broke the story, and our site went fucking bananas, and this was early days. And I was like, fuck, we had 400,000 people on the website in one day, because I became an insider, even though I'm not. I just said, fuck, he's coming. Here are the details. And everybody went bananas. And then all the insiders are like, you're not allowed to do that because we're real insiders. I'm like, dude, the walls are broken down, right?
Yeah.
Like, we now live in a time when we legitimately, our trust scores are better than Rogers media outlets, Bell media outlets. People come to us for information because we just don't lie to people. We don't just
We're
make
honest.
shit up. And then
we're honest. And when we are
exactly.
when we're blowing smoke up your ass, we're telling you.
Yeah.
Or at least the people that are watching us on a daily basis know that we're blowing smoke up your ass because they get what we're doing. They understand the show.
Well,
right?
And it's not just us. What you're seeing is, and if you've paid attention to the demise of television, radio, TV, the trust scores, and I spent a lot of time in this space, trust scores for mainstream media are at an all-time low for a couple of reasons. One, no one identifies with a dick in a suit on their television anymore. Just a fact, right? Number two, no one wants to see people who have seemingly no problems at all talk down to them. The reason why, and there's a great article that was out in Report on Business a while ago on why nobody trusts mainstream media today. And the reason why nobody trusts mainstream media today is because social media has given us the opportunity to have other people tell those stories, but tell them honestly. Now people are going, hold it, I'll go to this person for that person for this. There's no one-stop shop for news anymore at CTV or CP24 or CBC, which, by the way, was just given $400 million extra dollars by Justin Trudeau the other day. I don't know if you saw that. So, yeah, CBC, who go out and get ad money, they were just given $400 million of our taxpayer dollars to run it. So it's a joke, and it's literally a public broadcaster for whoever the running government is in this country.
We knew that money was coming, though, right?
Yeah, I don't even care
about it. But
no, I'm not angry. I'm not angry because it's been the same for years.
He said it out loud. We knew, like putting that dick in. We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah,
but he got it in record time too. So, like when people complain, I'm like, listen, you guys voted him in. So
yeah, but you know what? It having said all that, I've never seen a response like this from people going, "Yeah, we do." Like, we need new media in this country. We need people to tell us a story. We don't need legal arguments getting in the way of narratives. We don't need political favors getting in the way of news and information. But we just want to know the truth. And this pandemic, to Lachlan's point, absolutely exposed mainstream media for being what it was, which was a talking point for the relationships of their executives. And that's all it is. That's all it's ever been. And they just continue telling you that they're not. You know, when Donald Trump says they're the media, like, you know, it is, but it's the opinion of the ideology that belongs to the people who are the stakeholders in those media outlets. That's all that is.
I think we've just opened the hood on it a little bit, and maybe we are a little, to Rookie's point, and maybe that is a way of looking at it from an optimistic point of view as opposed to a skeptical point of view. Maybe it is giving us a little bit more transparency, and hopefully we're becoming smarter because of our access to the information. I don't know, man. I think we're still on a climb upwards of that. Rook, if I'm being honest with you, I still think in the sort of the evolution of social media and the internet and what it does for our day-to-day, like taking in of information, I still think we're pretty low on the dumb scale, right? There's too many people out there that are convinced of stuff like drinking pee will cure you of COVID. That, you know,
horse dewormer helps with
horse
COVID.
Dewormer. I think there's still too many of those stories right now that bother me about what the internet has done and so social media has done to the society that we live in right now.
It hasn't done anything, dude. Dude, people are allowed to make all their own terrible decisions. And if someone is dumb enough to go on fucking social media and they see a guy stick a piss popsicle in his nose and they're like, I don't have COVID, and they do it themselves, that's fucking an incredibly entertaining part of life. Like, I enjoy it. This is where we're at. I mean, we're at the point of the pandemic where you can legitimately set your clock to the same bullshit from the same people because it doesn't fucking matter anymore, right? None of that stuff scares me. What scares me, and not even scares me, but what is fucking ridiculous to me is what I watched with Doug Ford in the snow machine removal fucking love fest that he did. And what scares me is that everybody was involved in the propaganda, like every single media outlet, until some of us a few of us stood up and go, hey, we know what this is. It's an absolute cock up and it's bullshit, and it's indicative of the way that fucking media is run in this country. And all of a sudden, we got just crushed with like DM requests from people. Hey, I'd love to come work there. Hey, can you teach me how to do that? Hey, I'd love to be able to do that content. Hey, I work for, like, I had 10, 15 conversations over the past 2 days with people that are in media that are going, dude, we got to get out. We got to get out. We know what this is. We know we're just agents of a power center, and we know they're placating us and they own us with money, but we can't do our jobs.
Yeah.
Like what we see other people doing in media on behalf of those power centers is soul draining for them. Like fucking soul draining. Anyway,
I'm going to wave a red flag, though. I just want to make sure that I say this out loud, because as much as I agree with you and that Canadian media, mainstream media needs to, take a look at itself and be very hypercritical about what they've done for years, and the fact now that maybe the cat's out of the bag and that people are a little bit more. You know what? I think we were always aware of what that was. I think we always watched CBC or CTV News or the breakfast television or whatever it was on a mainstream channel. We always watched it with just a little bit of they're kind of fucking with us. We always knew that. I think we just know it now. It's just a little bit more palatable. It's You know what I'm saying? But I think you also have to be cognizant of the fact that this is not a fucking news channel. Like, it bothers me when I hear this all the time. People say to me, "Oh, you're our source for news." And I'm like, "Oh my God, don't tell me that. Please, for the love of God, don't tell me that your only source of fucking news is the Locher Room." Like that scares the shit out of me. Joe Rogan gets brought up constantly as I get my news from Joe Rogan. I'm like, right. What are you talking about? No. You have to be a little bit more discerning about what you watch and what you digest to make opinions about the world that we live in. And if this podcast or my show or fucking Army Chris is one of them. He only gets news from this podcast and the Locher Room. That's terrifying to me. If that's you need to open up something.
Think about how powerful we are, though.
I just hear a good break for you, Locke. News from the Locher Room, and then you just spread false news.
Like people say that we're their source for news. We're their source for news, and we do a break about cuckolding, and then we talk about Boba Fetish, and then we go into talking about COVID. Like, how are we?
Yeah,
like,
that's
maybe
terrifying.
Somebody needs cuckolding news that day.
You know what's really fucking crazy is that we're like the number 2 or 3 ranked daily news podcast in this country. And
we are.
We talked about pregnancy fetishes and frequency of masturbation and COVID dick for the first 40 minutes of the show. So
I think though that we do joke around, but I think that you guys need to give credit where credit is due, and you do tell it like it is.
We are awesome.
And also other thing too, which is one of the comments that came up while you guys were chatting, was that with long form content, with mainstream media, if they have, say, like a Dr. Mario Elia on, he's on for 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
We have him on for 45. So he can say what he wants to say in long form, and people really get all the information. So I think the part of it is that we've decided to go long form with it. And when we have a guest who's an expert, they're on for a long period of time, and you can really get some depth of conversation.
Mm-hmm. That's I'm glad you brought that up, Rook, because in the mainstream media world, we've sort of been programmed for years now, and I bet you this was happening to Dean to a certain extent. There's always been this conversation about keep it tight and bright. Come on, tight and bright, Locke.
Yeah.
And every program director I've had, the one criticism they have of me is that the show is too long or we talk too much. Right.
And 7 minutes at a time.
It takes you 4 minutes to get to
and you know what? Listen, everybody out there that does any sort of content could go back and listen to what it was that they presented, and they could tighten it up and shorten it up. Anybody could. It doesn't matter if you're a jock at a CHR station or a classic rock jock, or if you're doing mainstream. It doesn't matter. You can always be tighter. But the point that I keep the thing that I keep seeing is the success of podcasting and long form content, right?
Yeah.
And at some point, radio has to look at what's happening in this realm and go, maybe we should hire people that can carry on a conversation for more than 2 minutes.
Dude, they're so scared of us. It is absolutely fucking hilarious. Like
right.
when you saw what you saw yesterday with Sid Sixero's rant on Doug Ford get removed from Twitter and then reposted with a kinder message because people lost their minds. That'll never happen here. Like, never. I took down a tweet about Ivana Yelich yesterday because it was the right thing to do. It wasn't not one, two people told me like that I trusted. I should probably take it down because it's not her in the picture. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm going to leave it up until I want. And then I had this thing where I'm saying, okay, Dean, if you're asking for accuracy from others, you should probably be pretty genuine about when you fuck up, and you should be able to say, I fucked up. Or we as a group fucked up. No big deal. We'll fuck up millions of times in our lives. We try to get it right. No big deal. Here you go. This is the truth. And like if we post 500 things a week, we apologize twice a year, maybe max.
That's
right?
important. That's important. You know, right? I know you're a stubborn dick, and
totally.
and I know you don't want to when you make a mistake. And not so much that. I know you because you and I are wired very similarly.
I know.
But I have seen you on more than one occasion, Dean, go, I fucked up here. We made a mistake here. And not only that, you also have the courage on the network that you are now running with the Dean Blundell Podcast Network. If you see something you don't like from somebody else, you have the balls to call them up and go, hey, and you're having a conversation with them. Is that the right thing, guy? Like, you know, like, I think people are taking this the wrong way. I think I understood where you might want it to go with that, but you missed the mark a bit.
Yeah.
And then we have these conversations. That's not happening in mainstream media.
No, they hide from it. They hide from mistakes, and they make it mistakes intentionally because it's not like to remove the news from the internet, which is what they did yesterday before they put it back up because they got fucking scared and they're like, put it back up. To remove the news from the internet is to control the narrative. And it happens all the time, right?
Yeah.
To hire people to do a job for the company isn't hiring personalities. Like, you're a personality, you're allowed to do your job, right? You are.
Jimmy and I have a very unique situation, and I like to point that out when we have conversations
very
like this.
Few people are. Like when you hire a reporter to do work for a news station, you have to go and report on the news they tell you to report on it as they tell you to do it. That happens across the city. It's every single news outlet, and the news outlets in this country are only owned by 2 or 3 people, right? Or 2 or 3 power centers. So, like, when the morphing that we've seen in the power that's being put back into the people that actually operate with values, that is going to take over. Companies don't last forever. CTV is not going to last forever. Bell's not going to last forever. Rogers is not going to last forever. What will last forever are values and the people that have the ability to do this job. That lasts forever. It does.
Yeah. They got a lot of money.
It wins every time. Yeah,
gives you staying power.
Speaking of staying power, did you guys, were you aware? I know I can't wait to get to that success portion of this part of my career where I can just sue people to shut them up. Right?
See, now you'll be part of the problem.
Yeah. Just launch lawsuits because I don't like people. That's what they do, so I might as well do it too.
It's a Trump strategy.
It really is. So Jimmy, I don't know if people know this, but podcast network that we have here, Jimmy launched the Jedi Jimmy podcast. It's about Boba Fett, otherwise known as Boba Fetish, and it is one of the top-ranked sci-fi podcasts in the country, by the way. I just want to give you a quick round of applause.
I can't
Jimmy.
believe
it is such a good podcast.
Fuck, you're doing so well with this thing, buddy. I honestly, I give you a hard time, but man, I am so fucking proud of you for what you're doing with this whole thing. And you know what? Kudos to fucking Army Chris, because this would be this podcast, if Jimmy was doing it himself, would be him in a Star Wars shirt with his fucking purple couch behind him.
Casting coach.
Yeah, the production value on the podcast, I don't know why, but it makes me laugh every time the intro finishes and there's Jimmy standing there and there's like some fucking castle from Star Wars behind him. I giggle every fucking time.
You want to see it? This is a little snippet. Jimmy's the Jedi Jimmy podcast
Have
about
you slowed
Boba
it down?
Fetish.
We always slow them down when we play.
And the Tuskens are not going to be part of this battle, I don't believe, because the village that he became part of, they were all slaughtered, so they're not going to be involved.
They were slaughtered indeed.
They were slaughtered. So
No
I think
spoilers. I haven't seen it yet.
they were slaughtered, so I don't think they're going to make an appearance again. They're all dead.
Sometimes he misses the boat on his predictions, right? But he has the courage to tell his nerd friends.
Guys, I got to tell you, all the Tuskens were slaughtered in episode 3, so I don't think they're going to be in episode 4.
But if you think about it, the Star Wars universe, the Tuskens always get slaughtered. They got slaughtered in
Revenge of the Sith.
The Revenge of the Sith. It wasn't Revenge of the Sith. That was Attack of the Clones. It was
Didn't
when he
Darth
found out
Vader fuck him out?
right. In Attack of the Clones when he found out his mother died.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Jawas got slaughtered in the fourth one. For whatever. Star Wars. And
the
then
rest of us are having sex.
Hey, I've seen, like, as I said, this week's episode, I've seen 3 times, and it came out at midnight.
Yeah. Did you?
He gets up at 2 in the morning to watch it.
Yeah, you're crazy. You're fucking insane. You got up at 12 o'clock last night. You went to bed early, got up at midnight just so you could watch Boba Fetish episode 4.
I slept in. I woke up at 2.
I woke up at 2, and you watched because you love this that much. Like, lightsaber moves, all the stuff. We're gonna get you to take us through those lightsaber moves one day too, at an extended period. But is this the best? Because listen, I'm watching it. I haven't seen episode 4. I'm into 3. Watched the slaughter. Totally get what you just said. I was very sorry for Boba. Very sad for Boba. Boba looked like he was pissed, and he's gonna go off in this next episode. But do you find this as motivating to watch because you're such a huge Star Wars nerd as I do? And I'm not a nerd, but I am super impressed with the series. Super impressed.
Like, there's parts in the show that as soon as it happens, like I get an instant hard on. Like, it's just or I like this morning something happened and I screamed out loud, and this is at 2:30 in the morning. And I was so excited.
How long are the episodes, Jimmy?
They range, but usually between 40 and 50 minutes.
Oh, okay, so it's not that long. So,
yeah, it's weird. But so, what did you scream about in this episode? Like, what did you?
No, I'm not.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so why would I tell you? Because I can't, because I don't want to ruin it for people.
Ewok.
Somebody probably comes back.
Ewoks
There's a character entrance, I feel like.
An Ewok? One of your boys in there?
No, it made it a reference to something very nerdy.
Oh, okay.
And which,
like an Easter egg.
Which, Dean, you probably haven't even seen. It's made reference to an animated character from previous.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about. So, but we had a bit of an issue here because episode 4, you're recording tonight your review of episode 4, correct?
I'm doing that tomorrow, and then
doing that tomorrow. So you're kind of like our official Star Wars podcaster.
Yeah.
Chris Rookie, our head of production, is also a Star Wars fan, and he's kind of doing the Star Wars Boba Fetish blogging, right? So I came to my attention that you were pissed off that you're the official Star Wars nerd at DeanBlundell.com. And then Chris wrote a really great piece on the initial Boba Fett, and you were really angry. It was like someone stole your thunder or something.
That's not a nerd piece. He was like a sports broadcaster. It was like a play-by-play. No, he picked up his blaster and shot that guy in the face, and it was just don't have to watch anything to see him. You're not giving any additional information. You're not, explaining who a character is. Like for someone who doesn't know,
photons are on lock.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Chris, did you take offense to? Do you take offense to him basically saying you're like a Sunday Star Wars guy? And
No,
you shouldn't be blogging about it.
Because I let the metrics do the talking of the blog, and it went on trending pages on our website. So, eat my Star Wars ass.
Yeah, there you go. Suck on that.
And here's my thing, and what I said on Kids on the Escalator. And you know what? Just talking to Lachlan and thinking about it, I do Star Wars reviews for people who have sex. It's Star Wars light.
Yeah. But the thing is,
Star Wars, I'll tell you this right now. Star Wars is an intimidating universe.
Yeah.
A lot of new fans don't want to jump in because it's so intimidating with all the names and galaxies and things, and people generally just stay away. And with our audience, not
they're
a lot
all
of people,
pussies.
Well,
yeah, that's right, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I think
people who don't get up at 12 o'clock in the morning to watch 3 episodes of the same Star Wars show, they're weird.
There's some tension here. I can feel it. Listen, and I'd like to jump in just to alleviate it for a minute. Okay. I think you guys can both live on the same network. Rook doing his reviews for the Star Wars light crowd, and I think you got this severe nerd crowd is going to gravitate towards Jimmy's podcasts for more in-depth, more detailed podcast review of the shows. And this is one thing that I've noticed with this Star Wars universe over the last couple of years is that I think a lot of us are drawn into it because it is good quality entertainment. I don't know what C-3PO's sister's name is. I watch The Mandalorian because it was good entertainment. I have a plan to watch the Boba Fett book of Boba Fett Fetish series when it's all done, because I'll want to watch it all at once. I'm not a big enough fan to wait for it every Thursday night or Wednesday, whenever it drops.
Do you guys like those weeklies, or do you like the binging?
If I'm into a show, I like the weekly.
Yeah. You like the weekly? Because a lot of some shows come out all at once, some come out weekly. And I think Netflix is moving to weekly. And I'm like, I think I'm a fucking binge guy. I don't think I'm a weekly guy.
It depends.
I don't think nothing holds my interest like that. Curse of Oak Island treasure hunting show, because I'm an old dude. I love that one. I'll watch it every week. Look forward to it every week. But I want the show to come out. I want the fucking whole thing. Give me the whole thing now. Maybe that's my addictive past.
That's what I'm doing with Boba. So it depends. I figured this out about myself. But I'm just saying, you guys can both live on the Dean Buntdale Podcast Network, and I think harmoniously. Even though I don't think there's some tension here right now. Really?
Yeah, I don't think they can, because Jimmy's like me too. Jimmy's a purist.
Jimmy's dark side of the Force. I'm light side of the Force. We can coexist, but just
Jimmy, you can't feel. I don't think you can be. I don't think you can. Exactly. We
have balance.
Chris is like you're for the nerds. You're for the super nerds. Chris is like, as he's pointed out, he's the Star Wars fan that people who have access to intercourse would like
regular intercourse, and not just the hand.
Yeah, the hand. And so and no offense to you, I know you want to have intercourse. You have and you will have intercourse. Lots of intercourse. You just aren't having a lot of intercourse right now. Therefore, because you're not having a lot of intercourse,
7 years,
you have time to do things like get up for 3 hours in the middle of the night to watch a Star Wars show, then go to someone's house, clean your apartment, make notes and stuff like that. He just didn't have that time because he's not that guy, because he has access to, intercourse.
Which isn't all it's cracked out to be anyways. It's 5 seconds of fun, then everybody's sad. So you're not missing much. If we're going to be honest here. Ask Dean. He just wants them to leave after.
It's true. It's like several minutes, then guilt, and then the door closes. That's pretty much it.
Prostitution. You're not paying them for sex. You're paying them to go home.
I black out every time, so I don't even remember it.
Anyway, I think you guys can live together, but I think you have to accept each other for who each other are. Like Chris is the surface guy. You're the deep diver. You're the guy.
We don't need you to support each other.
It's not a competition.
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't. Well, I think it could be. like I said, if we could have a virtual lightsaber battle.
Yeah.
I destroy.
Let me go get mine.
Him. I destroy him 6 ways
Rook,
Sunday.
do you have a lightsaber?
I do.
Go grab it. James, go grab yours. Go grab your lightsaber.
Mine isn't as expensive as his.
I don't care. I don't care how much it is. I want you to go grab your lightsaber. What people don't know is that we have two real lightsaber fans here. Like these guys, oh, that's a legit lightsaber. Jimmy's going to be very, very jealous.
Oh my god!
That's
look at this.
Real
what is
fucking
this?
lightsaber.
What is this,
dude?
Oh my god!
Jimmy, did you see his lightsaber? Show him your lightsaber. Show him the whole case. Look at this. He's got a real one.
It's Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber.
Yeah, you got a plastic one. I need to get him a real one.
I think you do need to realize that you are part of the Dark Force, at least on the podcast network.
Yeah,
Jimmy, you are a member of the Dark.
I do have a lot of anger in me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Obi-Wan's from Phantom Menace.
Oh, is it really? You know the different color lightsabers and everything?
No, because his.
I think I need to leave.
In the later movies, in episode 3 as well as episode 4, the hilt was shaped like this.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know what you just said, but yes.
The hilt.
I have never
the hilt.
The handle.
More in my life.
What's the hilt? The handle.
The handle.
Okay. No, yeah, I went to Star Wars World in Disney a couple years ago.
And that's where you picked that bad boy.
Before the vid. Yeah, I spent all day there by myself.
Have you do you know any routines? Do you know any lightsaber routines?
No, because nope.
No, because you have sex.
Coming to the podcast network soon. Jimmy, after the Boba Fetish breakdown, because it's 8 episodes, Jimmy is going to spend his weeks getting everybody versed on the different techniques of lightsaber fighting. Is that not correct?
The different styles. There's 7 different styles.
You loser.
So the reality with the lightsaber is I got this one because I wanted to get the one that Samuel L. Jackson had, which is the purple one. And then my wife's like, you can't get the one that the black guy has. You got to get, another one.
Yeah, you're appropriating his lightsaber. You can't.
Correct. So then I wanted to get the double-sided one that Darth Maul has, but it was $850 American
for a fucking fake lightsaber.
And she's like, no.
I'm going to be ordering some soon that are you can fence with, you can actually combat with people, that you can actually hit.
How much are they, Jimmy?
About 130 a piece.
Really?
US?
Yeah.
You're gonna get 2 of them so you can have real lightsaber duels with your friends?
I don't have friends that have any type of physical skill. I have Lachlan, who's an alcoholic, and then Army Chris, who can't lift his arms above his head. So
a rotator cuff injury he should have taken care of about 5-6 years ago when he fell down the stairs drunk. So he can't live. So the lightsaber fighting is out.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame. There's got to be it's so
it's still
huge.
tight,
you know how they have, you know how they have yoga? They got to have lightsaber clubs for guys like you.
There is the odd group, and there's one here in Edmonton, and it's just I found out about it just at the beginning of COVID. It's almost like a church of Star Wars where they actually have where you could fence and dress in the characters, and
what they don't know is that if you spend I think it's 4 sessions at the what's it called?
I can't
Star Wars Church.
It was the
4 sessions at Star Wars Church, and your virginity grows right back.
Yeah, totally.
Comes like
one time
you get your cherry back.
When I first got the lightsaber, I had it beside my bed, and my wife heard a noise. She's like, "Oh my god, I think somebody's downstairs. Can you go check?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." And I grabbed the lightsaber. It was like, she's like, "You're an idiot." I'm like, "I'm gonna go see what's up," because if I go downstairs and there's a robber, they see a lightsaber, they're turned around. They're exiting.
No, they're gonna pull the gun on you and shoot you.
There was one time I had my lightsabers in my backpack after we did a stunt at the radio station, and I stick them in my backpack, and they kept going off as we were walking down the stairs. And
I'm yelling at him, going, "What the hell is that?"
And then Locke's going, "This is my life. I hang around with an alcoholic midget who has lightsabers."
2 lightsabers in his backpack. And I'm driving
so
him home.
cool though. Yeah, but I find that cool because he doesn't give 2 shits what anybody thinks. He legitimately, like, you practice your lightsaber moves, don't you? You like you dedicate time to practicing all the different disciplines.
I've watched the movies. I could tell you who does what discipline, and in which movies, because actually throughout the Star Wars universe, like say Obi-Wan Kenobi, his style changed as time progressed.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that, but yeah, that makes sense. Congratulations. Listen, what is going on with the series? So Sam people got slaughtered. They're not going to be back for episode 4. I'm excited for episode 4. What am I expecting in episode 4? Does it go to the next level in episode 4? What are we talking about? What's on your podcast tomorrow night?
Teaser without spoilers.
Yes.
It actually delves a little bit more into Fennec Shan's and Boba Fett's relationship and how they actually started as a group, like in this show. So it gives a little bit more of a backstory on how they became.
Boba likes a finger, a digit in the bum. Right?
Is that true? Does Boba like a finger in the bum?
I didn't see that part.
Fetish.
I didn't see that part.
He likes to do it with his armor on.
I just love it. I love the series, and I'm really glad that you're covering it for us. The Jedi Jimmy podcast, ladies and gentlemen. James P. White is your host. You can get it anywhere you get your podcasts. If you're a Star Wars Boba Fett guy, and they're short podcasts too. What are they, like 10 minutes
15.
long or something like that?
10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
He did one before the series on the history of Boba Fett, and to give everybody a breakdown, which is worth watching. And then he's done one. He does it on the Thursday after the show comes out on the Wednesday. So tomorrow night around this time, it'll drop and it'll be a breakdown on 4. So you can either hang on to watch what Jimmy does until after you watch it on the weekend. Maybe you're like Rook and you're watching with a significant other and she can't watch till Saturday or whatever. Then you can watch it on Sunday morning when you're drinking your cup of coffee.
Great idea.
And if you don't want any spoilers, don't watch it.
What's that?
Yeah, that's worth saying.
And if you don't want spoilers, don't watch it
don't watch your podcast. Yeah,
I'll have it watched by tonight.
Hopefully.
You are doing a good job on the podcast.
Great job.
Jimmy.
Great. It's one of the highest rated sci-fi podcasts in the country, dude. You got to go check it out. It's called the Jedi Jimmy podcast. Download it.
The thing is it's not work. I actually love it. Like I remember doing it last week and I was like so excited and I was like at one point I almost had a seizure. I was so excited. And it's just one of those things that I just love talking about it. And it was such a good episode. And
is this better than Mandalorian?
It's hard to say because it's like the way I look at these podcasts or these 2 series is, see, Boba Fett, the Mandalorian was more of, especially at the beginning, was more of a Western. It was more of a, like he's a bounty hunter after the world. And this one's more of a gangster movie. It's, cool. This gangster doing this gangster doing that. And they're trying to build alliances and trying to sabotage each other. And like, that's kind of where this one is going. It's more, I'd almost want to compare it to like the Godfather of Star Wars kind of scenario. Oh, the action is great. Yes, there's a lot of action.
Mandalorian,
No,
I don't think so. I think there's a lot more action in Boba Fetish and, the Book of Boba Fetish. And you know what I like about it? It's a little darker, right? Like it is. It's
because it is a gangster movie. Because it's not like a fuzzy wuzzy. They slaughtered an entire village of people. It's like they talked about that and the hardships of certain things and the risks.
And the Hutts look like me after a football Sunday.
Oh, the Huts are back too. That's the thing. Like all the Jabba the Huts, you're like, fuck, the Huts are back. This is crazy. It's like
no, these those ones are his cousins.
Yeah. They all look the same.
I can't wait till
they just look like shits, don't they? The Huts. The Huts are all built like shits. Anyway, Jimmy,
they look like shit emojis.
Yeah, but you listen. This has been awesome to watch because, like I said earlier, anybody can be anybody they want in the digital space, right? And I know you get excited for it. I know it's not work because you know it. It's like the things that you used to hide from people are now things that make you money. You know, they're things that give you confidence. Like you probably didn't tell anybody about your Star Wars shit for a long time because you're like, don't tell anyone how many Star lightsabers you have and that you know all 7 disciplines of lightsaber fighting because people will make fun of you. Dude, you're a commodity. Your knowledge is a commodity now and you're doing a fucking great job of it. So good for you, Jimmy. Good for you. Good for you. Keep it up.
It's fun. I can't say, other than the fact that if I take it seriously, but I don't take it too seriously because I need to have fun with it.
And I think you need to ease off on Rook on his blog posts.
You got to support him. Maybe have him on the show so you guys can talk about it. I know you don't have guests, but what if you brought him on your show to talk about it and he could ask questions because you're a genius when it comes to this stuff, right? Think in terms of cooperation.
That's actually a plan for my final episode of the Jedi Jimmy podcast. This dealing with the book of Boba Fett. Is my last one is going to be dealing with someone who has less Star Wars knowledge.
Actually, just so you could dunk on him, right?
Army Chris. So it's going to be more of a like clarifying things and explaining.
You should do that. You should have a bit of a panel, like a little wrap up one where you have 3 or 4 guys on, right?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't want you on it, or else I might as well just review the
that.
podcast.
No, I'll just.
Do you know of any other little people that have their own podcasts?
No, most of this is a horrible thing to say. Most of the little people I know are lazy as hell. Like they're like, I know 3 little people of like the 20 I know, and I know 3 that aren't on unemployment or disability.
Okay.
And like one. He works. He tries to borrow money off me every other week. And I said, "Why don't you get a job?" Well, he's wrestling, and
Bruce is a fake little person too, because he's got really long arms.
He's not fake. He's just a different type of little person.
Hold it. What do you mean he's a fake little person?
You can't say that.
He can dunk a basketball.
No, he can't dunk a basketball.
Yes, he can. He can clean your windshield. From the back seat.
He can go to a buffet.
He's taller than me, but he's just
the window cleaner, cleans gutters for a living. The fucking guy's got
you're comparing him to me. I'm 4 foot, he's 4'6".
So I met Bruce. Bruce is the guy who's talking about. Bruce was on the little person basketball team with Jimmy back in the day, and I met him at a local wrestling thing. We have local wrestling in town, and we got talked into going out. And Grant was like, "I am going to this. This is awesome." So Grant goes, "I'll meet you there." So Grant's literally outside.
I'd
smoking.
go to it too. I would go to it too.
Fuck, it was so much fun.
Same reasons.
You got to tell me.
We got shit tanked. We got shittered and went in and just sat and watched this complete gong show. And it's the lowest budget wrestling you can possibly imagine. Yeah. So we park and Jimmy and I are walking up. We see Grant. We're like, "Hey, Grant." And Grant is like, his eyes are this big. And he goes, "You're not going to fucking believe it. There's another midget in there." He was so excited. There was another midget in there. And I don't know what it is about these local, like low budget wrestling things, but it's like there must be a beacon for little people. Like, and they just come running out of the woodwork. So we go in and I'm like, "Jimmy, do you know?" And he's like, "I don't know every fucking little person, you assholes." So we go sit down and we can see the other little person, and he is giving Jimmy the snake eye. Like
I'm a better little person than you.
I don't know what it was, but he was not happy with Jimmy's. Like, he was just like, "I'm the little person that comes to these fucking low budget wrestling things." That was the vibe I was getting.
That was the one. And when then
I'm sitting there, I'm chatting with somebody next to me, and Grant fucking hits me, and he goes, "There's another one!" He just loses his mind, and then he's walking towards us, and Grant's going, "Oh my God, he's fucking coming over here!" And he walks right up to Jimmy and goes, "Hey, Jimmy, how you doing, buddy?" And like Grant's like, "Oh my God, he fucking knows James! I am so glad I came out tonight." I've never seen Grant more excited in my life.
But then one more showed up.
Yeah, we had four. It was like four. A little. I think it was a woman. Wasn't it?
Gotta go buy a lottery ticket after that.
Yeah, and there was a guy sitting in front of us with his own bag of chips, like a Costco-sized bag of chips, and two liters of pop. And he was hammering, and they all know these guys' names, and they're yelling at him. It is just I will go back to one in a heartbeat. It is so much fun, these wrestling things. Yeah.
And it's just as much fun watching the crowd and the types of people that go to these. Like
oh yeah. The crowd was the ticket. That was the price of admission.
But Bruce, he was there because he was trying to get a job wrestling. He actually got a job with a different crew out of
it was winter and they weren't cleaning gutters. So.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's. I would just assume that, like, when you see, you know how guys with Corvettes pass each other on the road and they do one of these? You see that? When you see another little person in the mall, is there like a acknowledgement that you both have dwarfism, or is it like I fucking hate you already? You're like competition in my little person life.
Actually, to be honest, in the city of Edmonton, and Locke can attest to this, other than Bruce, none of the midgets talk to me because of like we pissed them off. We pissed them off, like, because I don't care. I use the word midget. We've done bits that are making fun of the fact that I'm short. You know, and
the other problem is Jimmy doesn't play the victim card.
Oh yeah,
and unfortunately, that's a bit of a trend in that community, and it's kind of sad actually. But Jimmy doesn't use that. He doesn't use what his dwarfism to get attention. Like, you know what I mean?
Dunbar,
like negative attention.
No, you're wording it wrong. I capitalize on the fact that I'm a midget to get things done. I wouldn't have got into radio if it wasn't for the fact that you did a shout out looking for a midget to beat the shit out.
You use it. You don't use it to get attention from.
No,
you're not the poor me.
Pimp it. It's not performance for you. It's like it's your thing, and you don't utilize it in a negative capacity, right? There's a question here. Dunbar has a question for you. My only serious question is: do all little people enjoy Peter Dinklage, or is he a sellout?
That's a good question.
Peter Dinklage is not a sellout. He's some midgets, and the same problem that they have with myself is they don't like people who have any monicum of success, who have made anything of themselves, because they can't figure out a way of doing it themselves, and then they get a little bit, he's doing it wrong. He's an evil person because he's dressing up like a leprechaun and being paid $300 an hour. It's that kind of mentality. I respect the guy. He's become one of the more known little people in the world. He's been in major TV shows, major movies, and not just B movies. Like, he's been
Game of Thrones.
He was
fucking dude.
Have you seen him in 3 Billboards? He's hilarious in that.
He's incredible in 3 Billboards. I don't know if we want to.
He was in one of the Marvel movies. He was in.
Yes, he was.
I think it was Thor, Ragnarok.
Yep.
No,
he was.
He was in one of them.
Yeah,
and I think it was Endgame.
Endgame. Yep. And he was also, if I'm not mistaken, he was in the movie Elf.
Yes.
Yes. He was the angry elf.
Yes.
That ran across the table and drop kicked him.
Call me an elf one more time.
Beat the shit out of Will Ferrell.
Do you?
That was funny.
is he like? I'm just asking these questions because is he like a spokesperson in the community? Is he like
A
your
little
guy?
bit, right?
Is Peter
Jimmy?
Dinklage? So you revere him, you're proud of him, but like, is he when you guys go, oh yeah, well, like little people? What about Peter Dinklage? Is that he your guy?
I don't know if he's got that kind of clout when it comes to the little person world. I know one person who really did, and he actually was the one who formed the Little People's Association of America, and that was, oh crap, I can't think of his name. But he was one of the little people.
That guy?
No,
No,
that's Hervé Vallechès. Oh, crap. He was in Willow. He was in a bunch
Oh
bunch
yeah,
of
I
things.
know what you're talking about.
I can't think of the guy's
Lachlan,
name.
sorry, I'm laughing because he's
Warwick
like
Davis.
he's
No,
bringing up
not him.
He's
No.
bringing up the only midget that
Duplain,
was ever like a
Duplain.
huge TV star. It was fucking Tattoo
And-
from Fantasy
and-
Island.
And he was nuts. Like you heard how he killed
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah,
He
Shotgun.
was in the backyard. He killed himself with a shotgun, but his girlfriend was sleeping. He shot out the bedroom window and then shot himself in the face. So he woke
that's
her up with a
terrible
gun.
fucking story.
That's the worst way to go. I think.
Terrible story. But I also believe he had some drinking issues and a bunch of other things that was
Yeah.
going on too, right? So yeah. But so he's not your guy. Like he's not your poster guy in the community. It'd be Peter Dinklage would be the.
Yeah.
Can you call him King of the Little People?
He's, as I said, he's one of the
He
more
was royalty in Game of Thrones.
Billy Barty was the guy who was Billy Barty was
Barty.
and he was the one that had huge respect because he started the Little People's Association.
Well, the one thing that we've dealt with as the show with Jimmy and his sort of philosophy on life in that he is going to take advantage of the fact that he's a little person, not try to get sympathy for the fact that he's a little person. There is a little bit of pushback in the community because of that, right? But Jimmy has a couple of close friends that are little people that do similar things, right? Like, and I applaud Jimmy for this. If he's going to go, if St. Patrick's Day comes around and he has a chance to make $1,500 and get his bar tab picked up for the night, why the fuck not? He's got an elf costume or a leprechaun costume. He gets hired by this one bar that has like a chain of bars around town. They pick him up, they drive him around in a fucking limo all day, and he goes and he does his little routine as Patrick the leprechaun, and they fucking throw a bunch of money at him. And I'm
but how do you feel about the appropriation part of that? Like, and I'm only asking this because I could give two fucks. I think if you're sustained and you enjoy doing it and you don't give a shit, but what about all the people that are out there going, leave Jimmy alone, and you're standing there going, no, don't leave Jimmy alone. Give Jimmy $1,500 and put me in a fucking elf costume because I am game to make some bread.
The problem that I have with our show, and it happens all the time, is people do paint me as a victim. Oh, Locke's making. They're making you do this. They're making you do that. They're horrible to you. Yeah, they're assholes, but they're not an asshole to me because I'm a little person. They're an asshole to me because they're assholes. But the thing is, though, is, and I have to give Locke this is the fact that yes, we exploit the hell out of the fact that I'm a little person, but if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be in this industry, for one. And he doesn't label me, like he hasn't ever labeled me as a little person. It's just he likes my personality and what I bring to the table and how I like to make fun of myself.
Do you know what he says about you when you're not here? You know what he says about you? I'll tell you what he says about you. He says you're his best friend. That's what he says. He says he cannot imagine a nicer human being. He legitimately, and I know that Lachlan doesn't like, he's like me when he starts hearing nice things. He's like, can we just get on with the cock talk, please? We will. Don't worry. We'll get back to COVID dick in a second. But dude, you have so much value around you that, like, the idea that you're a little person going through life, I don't even, and I'm like, I'm with Locke. It's like the content that you give and the genuine nature of your personality makes me just happy to be around you. Like, the way that you live your life, I support it. so it doesn't matter to me. I just wanted to ask you, like, all those people out there fighting for your rights when you go, fuck off. I like the rights I have right now. Like, it's got to be fucking decimating for you at times. Like, the leprechaun toss. You guys got in trouble for it, or the dwarf toss that you did at the radio station.
Yeah, we did.
Wanted to do it. You enjoyed it. It was content, and they're like, you can't do it anymore.
We got in shit for that bar gig that we did where we were doing, and we did it for over 2 years. Velcro football, where I was wearing a Velcro suit, and people were throwing footballs to stick to the suit.
And they would stick.
And
if they
making them stick
on them, they would get a prize.
And people are like, I can't believe Locke makes you do this. And I'm like, no, he wanted me to catch the fucking football. So that means I couldn't drink if you're expecting me to catch something. You can, the drunker you get, you can still dodge a football. We
had lineups at the bars we would go to.
Like we used to do it. We used to do it
in the bars, Adam.
Yeah, we had little tiny balls, and we put the backside of the Velcro on one, and then he had the Velcro suit on, and he would get pissed drunk. After the first week, he took a tumble and split his head open, and we're like, well, we need to get you a helmet. And then like a week later, I sacked him. I hit him with when we were practicing.
He got me right in the nuts.
We better go get him a cup. So he had a full outfit by the time we ended the thing.
I started with a helmet.
The AGLC found out about it.
I started with just a helmet just to protect my head. And then the next year I kept getting hit in the beak. So then we got a face mask. And
this went on for 2 years.
Yeah.
So every time hold it. In most radio stations, the second one of their that hurt my cheeks. The second one of their employees get hurt in a stunt, they're like, stop the stunt. You know what you guys did? Just got him a helmet. Then he got hurt again. He got it in the nuts. You're like stop the stunt. No,
we did 2 stunts with Jimmy that got us into trouble. Well, the Velcro football kind of got us into trouble with the AGLC, but we didn't get fined or anything like that. The bars just got in trouble. That wasn't really a radio stunt. That was just a bar stunt. But the one we did a Tide Pod thing where we didn't shove Tide Pods up his ass. We did a bit where we made everyone think that we shoved a bunch of Tide Pods up his ass, because we've always talked about the fact that he is a good hooper, and that if you're going to go across the border with anybody, take Jimmy, because he's got a huge prison wallet.
Is that true?
So
no,
he does. Yeah, like he gets on.
I can't reach
no
my
carry
ass.
on the airplane, and he has a full lunch. So anyway,
hold it. You can't reach your ass.
No, there's a technique to wiping it too.
How is what? Tell me about the technique.
We're not getting into that one.
No, okay, sorry, we'll get into it.
Because Locke hates that one.
Sponge on the end of a stick, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's how I wash it in the tub. But
wash it. He's turned it into an inanimate object. That's how I wash it.
So the Tide Pod thing got us into trouble because
you don't say.
We gave people the chance to guess how many Tide Pods we shoved up his ass for some prize. I can't even remember what it was. That got us in a lot of trouble.
That got us. We had emails from little people from countries I've never even heard of. And like
we had to hire someone to come in and answer all the emails that we got.
So we had to take that video down. But some of the comments on it angered me in some ways. Like a couple
Jimmy
of
was so mad about that.
And some of the one of the comments was, they're so mean to him. Look into his dead eyes. And
the other one that got us into trouble was back at the last radio station. We were at the Bear, and we did this thing called the Great Pumpkin Toss through the month of October. We filmed stunts where we were blowing up pumpkins and shit, and we just did a different one every day in the month of October, and we filmed it. So I duct taped Jimmy.
No, we didn't get in that much trouble for that.
We did.
Did we?
Yeah, we got in trouble for this one. We duct taped Jimmy to the back of our truck.
I was inside the box. He duct taped me to the window, and he just made sure I could bend my elbow so that.
And then we put a big pumpkin in his hand, and then he had to drop the pumpkin out. And we were driving.
I had to throw the pumpkin out as we were driving.
That got.
How are you still on the radio, Locke?
Fuck, dude.
Does Edmonton just have
many
lower
worse
standards
things than I have?
And he got canceled.
Fucking awesome.
But there was something else that we did. We got the Tide Pod, and then we did the dwarf tossing in the in the control room, but in
Didn't
our
you do like
defense,
the egg thing pissed a bunch of people off.
Yeah,
the egg,
we threw
but
eggs,
the egg thing. But the problem with the egg thing is that people thought it looked violent. And again, people don't understand that I agree to do things. Do I regret agreeing to that one? Kind of, because they weren't tossing no bloody eggs at me. They were throwing them like they were trying to kill a gopher with a sponge. Like,
dude, you admit it. You agreed to it.
Yeah.
It was your idea. You edited it. You set up the fucking cameras.
Like
you were all in, and then all of a sudden you're like, "It's mean."
No, I never said it was mean. I never said it was.
Know they were going to throw it like David Wells.
I didn't realize. Like, I didn't realize that.
That
the eggs. I didn't realize that the eggs. None of them broke on me. They bounced off me and hit the wall and broke. None of them broke on me.
Yeah, well, the
one that smoked you in the head did.
The one that took off my helmet.
Yeah.
Locke and Grant have to work on their arm strength then, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Whip.
Well, dude, listen, I got to tell you, it's been enlightening. Like, always these questions I've always wanted to ask a little person. We've had you on the show like 100 times, and I don't look at you as a little person. So when you open up the, the little person conversation, I like having this conversation because you're an individual. It doesn't matter how big or small you are. It doesn't matter what your interests are. You live your life, and no one can tell you how to do it. So if you want to get dressed up in a green thong and go out like Patty the Sexy Leprechaun for $15 on St. Patrick's Day, you should be allowed to do that. You should be allowed to do it and not be afraid that someone's going to come up to you and go, "Look what they're doing to you." That's how they get you, by the way. They get you by going, "Jimmy," and then you go home and you start doing this. Maybe that's true. Maybe Lachlan is using me for his own benefit. Maybe, and then then you start thinking about it. Then you build resentment.
I told him that.
You got to shut people out. Shut everyone out.
No, actually,
everybody.
Actually, when that happens, I go home and I'm like, who the hell do they think they are? Saying stuff like that because it actually
a lot of it in the community is jealousy too. Jimmy's doing really, really well and has a successful career for the last 10 years in radio. He's on one of the top rated morning shows in Edmonton and in a top 5 market in Canada. Right. And I think that's what ended up with happening with Mark. We had a little person that Jimmy is sort of not friendly with, but it knows about. And Mark,
but we also got a little bit of resentment from him with the fact that Grant said he knew 2 little people. One's a stripper on the radio, and the other one's a drug dealer, and he was the drug dealer.
Mark is a drug dealer,
and he
he got really mad around the time of legalization because I think he lost his bread and butter.
Did he really? He was just selling the pot.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, you got to branch out. You got to sell the white too.
So back in 2017, that's when all that shit went down.
Yeah.
And he was listening to the show just to complain about what we were doing. And so he's kind of disappeared, eh? The drug dealing little guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Does he still rear his ugly head every once in a while?
I don't know. I block him on social media. I hate that negativity.
We called him one day on the show.
Yeah.
Did you hear what he just said? Anybody just miss what Jimmy just said? I don't know. I blocked that fucking asshole on Twitter. I hate the negativity.
He was very negative. He was. So I called him up and I said, "Hey, listen, Mark, I got an idea for you. There are a lot of really good radio stations here in Edmonton. This one seems to be bothering you a lot.
Yeah,
you should find another one to listen to." And he lost his shit on us.
And then we got more complaints. But Dean, I got a very important question for you.
Yes.
Okay,
and then we'll wrap it up. Yeah,
you've been in the radio industry for a while.
Not really.
As a boss of a radio station, which and you got a complaint about your morning show. Mm-hmm. All right, would you get Locke to deal with that complaint?
Probably, to be honest with you.
Because Locke called the boss is like
the chaos.
Well, let me take you through my work history with bosses here quick, Jimmy, and then we'll end the show. James P. White, host of the Jedi Jimmy podcast here at the DeanBlundell.com network. I was taken off of the go ahead and reply to these angry people probably 12 years into my tenure at The Edge when I was doing radio at 102.1 The Edge, which has since turned into a shitbox, if you will. When I would get complaints, they would send them to me because early in those days, it was early 2000s, they're like, just write something nice back to this guy and get him off our back. And I'm like, okay. So that was the first mistake. So for several years, I would either A, ignore it if it was ridiculous, or I would send back a note that said, plenty of radio stations to pick from. Thanks for spending the time with you. The really dumb ones, and this is like 12 years into my gig at The Edge, they're like, maybe we shouldn't be allowing Dean to reply to people, because I just would take a cut and paste approach to it. And I had a standard response. It was like, thank you for your email. Really appreciate it. We're all into getting better. Really appreciate it. We'll take it under advisement. P.S. Go fuck yourself. So when you ask me if I would like Lachlan to respond to terrible tweets and messages and complaints, the answer is fucking right, I do. If I was his boss, I would take every complaint and I would just hand it to him and go, have a great afternoon. And whatever came back, because opinions are fucking ridiculous. Like, everybody's got a stupid opinion on something, and their opinion that something isn't audible for a certain group of people, or that Jimmy is X, or that this is not consumptionable for their friends, and you shouldn't be. What they fail to realize is that problem is immediately alleviated by you taking your fat fucking dumb fingers and grabbing the knob on your radio and twisting it once. Literally. And I would reply that, hey guy, you know your fat fucking fingers? Just employ them on the radio and crank that dial one turn, and you'll be free of us. You don't have to come and tell us how you'd like us to do the job, right? Or how you'd like us to live. This is the problem that we've always had, and we're going to continue to have that problem, is that we have a group of people out there that seem to think that, I need to say something. The best things I've said are the ones I've never said, because I don't regret it after. But those people sure did. Like, I've had people fired. Like, I got people that would complain from TorontoJobShop.com and from their work email address, and I would take the complaint that my company would send to me, and I would craft a different response and send it to their boss at TorontoJobShop.com and say, your client, your employee is using company time to send us these terrible complaints. You should probably deal with it because it's very bad for your business. And I would get people fired on a monthly basis because that was my joy. So, yes, okay. I would like Lachlan to respond to all of the complaints if he was working.
It's still not a good idea. I like phoning them. Yeah. Especially the angry ones.
And then airing the call. Are you recording this? No. And then he plays the call.
No, hold on. Don't. You're going to get me into trouble. I don't do that. If somebody asks if they're being recorded, I always say yes.
Yeah. No, you don't. Yeah, I mean, yes, you do. All the time.
I do.
That's all the time. Yeah. Anyway, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks, Jimmy. Jedi Jimmy podcast. Anywhere you get your fun podcast, download it, subscribe. It's fucking. You love the Star Wars? He's the best. The best. That is Chris Rook. Oh, with his dog, beautiful Winnie. Look at that. That's beautiful. Chris, thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
She's had to go to the washroom for the past 30 minutes, so I had to bring her up.
Take her out. Take her out. That's Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. You can listen to both Lachlan and Jimmy tomorrow morning on your radio program. Online as well. Just Google 95.7 Cruise FM. They're listening live feature. You can listen to it. Best show in Canada.
Locher Room YouTube page too. The Locher Room, all one word. That's Subscribe. Where you'll get Jimmy's podcast as well. It goes up there in case you're not following anybody else.
Oh, does it really? That's awesome.
Yeah, we put it up there. We got a playlist.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
it. Guys.
And we won't see Lachlan for a couple of days. He's off on some kind of ski trip. Yeah, he's going to go skiing.
It's yoga skiing adventures.
Good for him. I'm really happy that he's going. So we'll be back tomorrow. We've got a guy named Alex Bishop who's going to join us. What's that?
Grant always makes up what I'm doing. Last time I was away, I was in Africa at a yoga retreat.
Yeah.
Hey,
and then the last time you were, then the last time you were in skiing. Then the last time you were in Jasper, you were praying to aliens.
Oh, because
C5 trip.
Gotcha. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Talk to you all soon. Jimmy, Lachlan, Chris. Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's it for us. I'm going to order in tonight. I don't really cook. I bet you I cook like 30 meals a month. Easily. Not tonight. Have a great day. Thanks, everybody, for paying attention and been joining us. You can join us anywhere you get your fine podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast if you're listening on Google, Apple, or Spotify. Subscribe to the video portion. Go to YouTube, Dean Blundell Show on YouTube. Smash that subscribe button. Smash it. And same thing with Twitch. If you're on Twitch, Dean Blundell TV on Twitch. You can watch these things live. Thanks to our friends and sponsors over at Easy Auto Financial. Easy Auto Financial help you get into a car. They get you financing for free. They don't care about your credit rating. They're the best. Go to Easy Auto Financial. No obligation. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Sign up today and get your free financing for your new car, which they will turnkey for you. That's how good they are. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Ed's Fine Imports and his Gitch. Ed's Underwear, the best luxury branded underwear on the planet. Order them today, guys. You don't want to go shopping for underwear and look around leafing through. Oh, these ones. Dude, these are your underwear. Gitch, Gitch, then the number 3. That's your promo code. EdsFineImports.com. Order them. He'll send them to you. And a free pair for free when you order 3 or more. EdsFineImports.com. And his Gitch. And I think that's it. We done, if you will. Oh, domination. Dominate your content, dmntn.com. Go to domination.com today. Super easy. They make the life of a producer magic. Try them for free, domination.com, dmntn.com. That's it for us. Sign up for a newsletter on the website. Don't get COVID, penis. All the best to you and yours. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 o'clock, right here. Alex Bishop. He's our guest. Bye.